When you think of a hermit crab, you probably picture a tiny creature shuffling along the beach with a borrowed shell on its back. And you'd be right. But there's so much more to these quirky little nomads than meets the eye. Hermit crabs are like the backpackers of the animal world, always on the move and always looking for the perfect home. Unlike true crabs, hermit crabs don't have hard outer shells to protect their soft, squishy bodies. That's why they borrow empty seashells, usually those left behind by sea snails. It's a genius survival strategy, really, turning someone else's old house into their own mobile fortress. But finding the right shell is serious business. The shell has to be just the right size, not too heavy but not too small, and comfortable enough for the hermit crab to fully tuck into when danger's around. One of the most fascinating things about hermit crabs is their constant house hunting. As they grow, they outgrow their shells and need to prey. Sometimes, when the perfect shell is in short supply, hermit crabs form vacancy chains, a lineup of crabs waiting their turn for the right-sized shell. When one crab moves into a bigger home, the next crab in line takes their old shell, and so on. It's like a beachside real estate market in action. Hermit crabs aren't exactly the solitary creatures their name suggests. In the wild, they're pretty social and often hang out in groups. They climb on each other, share food, and even seem to communicate through a mix of chirping sounds and body language. Watching a group of hermit crabs interact is a lot like watching a tiny, awkward dance party. Speaking of food, hermit crabs aren't picky eaters. They're scavengers, happily munching on bits of seaweed, decaying wood, fruit, and even tiny pieces of meat. This makes them an important part of the ecosystem, cleaning up the beach and keeping things balanced. When it comes to defense, hermit crabs have more than just their shells. Their claws are a handy weapon, with one usually being bigger and stronger than the other. They use it to fend off predators, fight for shells, and sometimes just to make a point during crab disagreements. But life as a hermit crab isn't all beach vacations and shell swaps. In the wild, they face threats like habitat destruction, pollution, and the pet trade. Many people don't realize that hermit crabs need specific care and environments to thrive, and taking them from their natural habitat often shortens their lives. Despite their challenges, hermit crabs remain one of the most charming and unique creatures of the shoreline. They're adaptable, resourceful, and endlessly entertaining to watch. The next time you spot one scooting along the sand, take a closer look. You're witnessing a tiny adventurer on a lifelong quest for the perfect home.